Welcome, my lovelies. In this video, we're going to be talking about PORTIA Simpson Miller. She was well known for loving the poor so much that according to them, she kept them poor. And she also paved the way for all lesbians, gays, and transgender to have a place in Jamaican society that is well known for being strongly homophobic. How did she do this? I want to know also, so tag along with me if you are interested in knowing about PORTIA Simpson Miller's political journey as Jamaica's first female Prime Minister.
That caught fire, the person was fired.
They're saying it's not in line with good law.
Push the microphone.
Mr. Simpson Miller, your government has so far failed to adequately explain how it is you're funding free health care for children.
Well, we're funding the health care from the budget. We found money.
He is too smart. He told you to ask me that.
Mr. Simpson Miller, as Prime Minister, with respect, that's not an adequate explanation, unless you're telling us that you had money hanging around that was being wasted.
No, we have no money hanging around. The Minister of Health found some of the money, and the Minister of Finance found some of the money.
Tell me something. I will not be dragged into your little lying, dirty, slimy trick. She wasn't there. She was nowhere near there until when they heard that the place was on fire. So I don't know why anyone would be calling for her head to roll.
The only thing I'm going to do now is just give them a good whipping the night of the election.
Government expenditure as a share of GDP has been reduced. We are doing less with more money.
The long road of politics has been rough and tough. The knives had been drawn and she has faced harsh criticisms about her intellect, speech, mannerism, leadership capabilities, and other things that would have crippled or demotivated the average person. But none of that could stop this woman from becoming one of the most powerful and important individuals in Jamaica's political history.
PORTIA Simpson Miller, originally named Portia Lucretia Simpson, was born on December 12, 1945 in Woodhall, St. Catherine Parish, Jamaica. Her mother's name is Ethelyn Tulloch and her father's name is Zedekiah Simpson. She later grew up to become known as a profound Jamaican politician who served as the country's first female prime minister. PORTIA Simpson Miller received her early education at Marley Hill Primary School and Martin High School. After her graduation from high school, she studied at the Jamaican Commercial Institute and worked as a secretary in the field of social services. She became involved in politics as a member of the Liberal People's National Party, known as PNP, and in 1974 was elected to the City Council of the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation, essentially the Kingston metropolitan area, as a representative from the Trenchtown area. In 1976, she won election to the House of Representatives from the constituency of St. Andrew Southwestern, part of the Kingston metropolitan area. She was re-elected in 1980. With the rest of her party, she sat out the 1983 general elections, but retook her parliamentary seat in the 1989 elections and retained it thereafter. PORTIA Simpson was parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Local Government and later in the office of the Prime Minister between 1977 to 1980 during the first administration of Michael Manley. She was named Minister of Labour, Welfare and Sports in 1989 and stayed in the cabinet for 17 years while the PNP remained in power. Her portfolio was subsequently modified to Labour and Welfare between 1993 and 1995, Labour, Social Security and Sports between 1995 to 2000, Tourism and Sports between 2000 to 2002, and Local Government, Community Development and Sports 2002 to 2006. During her tenure, she oversaw reforms of the country's overseas farm work employment programs. She was also a noted public supporter of Jamaica's athletic teams and established the Sports Development Foundation in 1995. This foundation is an independent body that, among other things, supported community and school sports programs and funded the building of stadiums and playing fields. During the same period, she also rose through the PNP's ranks, serving as her party's vice president between 1978 to 2006, and she led a women's movement between 1983 to 2006.
My professors from the Union Institute and University that traveled from the United States of America to be here to give me support this afternoon. My professors, Dr. Marie Bogart I ask them to stand. My favorite professor, Dr. Michael Tredenick, and Professor Angelo Biles.
Well into her career in public service, Simpson earned a bachelor's degree in public administration from Union Institute and University in North Miami Beach, Florida in 1997. She also completed the Leaders in Development Executive Education program of Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government in 1999. In 1998, she married business executive and former CEO of Cable and Wireless, Errol Miller, and added his surname after hers. In 2002, the leader of the People's National Party, PNP, Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, announced that he would retire from politics before the next election. In preparation for that event, in February 2006, the party held a leadership election that was won by Portia Simpson Miller, who edged out her male rivals with a campaign that featured the distinctive slogan, "Come to Mama." Upon Patterson's retirement the following month, Portia Simpson Miller took office as the country's first female prime minister and the third in the Anglophone Caribbean, following Eugenia Charles of Dominica and Janet Jagan of Guyana. In organizing the cabinet following her swearing in, she assumed the portfolio of defense minister. Her administration worked to abolish healthcare fees for children and pledged greater government aid to first-time home buyers. Mrs. Miller and her party enjoyed popularity among the public, but her administration's reputation was damaged by a financial scandal and by its perceived slowness in providing disaster relief after Hurricane Dean in mid-August 2007. In the scheduled general elections held soon after, in September, the opposition Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, bested the PNP, winning 33 parliamentary seats to the PNP's 27, and Simpson Miller was replaced by Bruce Golding as Prime Minister, ending PNP's 18-year of rule over Jamaica. The loss can in part be attributed to a well-planned and executed campaign by the JLP. A part of their campaign strategy was a media blitz that claimed to highlight 18 years of neglect under the PNP and the incompetence of Mrs. Miller as a leader. One advertisement highlighted the deplorable conditions in Simpson Miller's own constituency of Southwest St. Andrew, while the others were created from controversial interviews, and still others discussed issues surrounding her incompetence as a leader. Portia Simpson Miller initially refused to concede defeat, alleging voting irregularities and the possibility that recounts would change the final result. However, the Organization of American States Assistant Secretary General Albert Ramdin, who led a team of international observers monitoring the election, said that everything was fair. After that, Portia Simpson Miller conceded defeat on the 5th of September. On the 11th of September, Mrs. Miller was succeeded as Prime Minister by JLP's leader, Bruce Golding. In 2011, Golding resigned, making way for Andrew Holness to become the 9th Prime Minister of Jamaica. After Golding's resignation on October 2011, his successor, Andrew Holness, called for early elections to be held on December 29. However, as Portia Simpson Miller campaigned in key constituencies, the gap widened to favor the PNP. Days before the election, Portia Simpson Miller came out fully in favor of the LGBT rights in a televised debate, sparking an 11th-hour controversy ahead of the vote.
Purchase your tracks today.
The PNP, still headed by Portia Simpson Miller, won convincingly with 42 seats to the JLP's 21. In January 2012, the newly installed Prime Minister emphasized her administration's commitment to regional integration and cooperation. During her term in office, the government began reforming the country's drug laws. In February 2015, it decriminalized the possession of small amounts of marijuana. In the 2016 Jamaican general election on the 25th of February, Portia Simpson Miller lost to Andrew Holness by a narrow margin that resulted in a recount, which granted the PNP an additional seat, resulting in a 1-seat loss. The PNP won 31 seats to the JLP's 32 seats. As a result, Mrs. Miller became opposition leader for a second time. The voter turnout dipped below 50% for the first time, registering just 48.37%. Following calls from within her own party for her to step down as party leader, Portia Simpson Miller announced she would not seek re-election on 4th of December 2016. She was replaced by Peter Phillips, the Shadow Minister of Finance and former rival, on the 26th of March 2017. Portia stepped down as an MP on June 2017. She supported Jamaican republicanism and she endorsed replacing the Jamaican monarchy with an elected president. Mrs. Miller has reportedly pledged to transform Jamaica into a republic as part of the 50th anniversary of the island's independence. Portia has occasionally been labeled as a populist. After ambivalence during her first term in office, Portia Simpson Miller became the first head of government in Jamaican history to formally endorse civil rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender citizens during an election campaign. She noted during an election debate that she has no problem giving certain positions of authority to a homosexual as long as they show the necessary level of competence for the post. She strongly expressed that equality within a nation for all people is of utmost importance. During her premiership, Portia Simpson Miller received some scrutiny from foreign LGBT organizations and commentators following the murder of Dwayne Jones for what they saw as a lack of action by her government against anti-homosexual violence, despite her pledge to improve conditions for LGBT Jamaicans. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller claims that she has endured political pain and personal hurt on her every step during her 10-year reign as president of the People's National Party, PNP. In an exclusive interview with the Sunday Gleaner, Simpson Miller admitted that some comments directed at her during her nearly 5-decade-long political life, especially during the periods of contest, hurt her deeply. Claiming she bears malice to none, Simpson Miller said she has weathered the storm, but some criticisms have cut her to the core, despite the political toughness which comes with the territory over time. In her own words, she shared, "I don't allow anyone to make me cry. I would be disappointed, upset, but you are not going to get me to cry because I know where I am coming from and I know where my parents are coming from." She continued, "The way I was brought up does not allow me to pay too much attention to evil. So whatever is evil, I leave it aside. I deal with it by praying to my God." Before she left office, she left some wise words. "We have to go back to being a kinder Jamaica, a gentler society. We have to go back to being a people of strong values, of service, community, and peace." So there we have it. I just want to share with you guys that while I was making this video about Portia Simpson Miller, I got very emotional about her journey. Not only was she heavily criticized as being a leader, she was mocked and ridiculed constantly and disrespected by many. But what I came to realize is that even though she was made fun of, she was loved by many Jamaicans and many leaders as well. And she did what she thought was right. She did what she could and she tried her best as a leader. And so we have to give our honors and respect to Portia Simpson Miller. I just want to thank you guys for supporting this channel and this video. Please leave any comments down below, any errors that I've made, any additional information or your opinions about Mama P. Share it with us. Have a conversation with us. So that's it, guys. Until then, bye-bye.